What if there were a medicine that could heal almost anything?
That would be great.
But they didn't want you to know about it.
Sorry, who's they?
Some people are following me, and I brought my tortoise.
From executive producers Mike Judge and Greg Daniels and co-creators Joe Bennett and Steve Healy comes an animated comedy thriller about what it takes to change the world. Common Side Effects. Series premieres with back-to-back episodes. February 2nd at 11:30 p.m. on Adult Swim. Next day on Max.
You found your person. Now let The Knot help you with everything else. The Knot connects you to the wedding inspo, vendors, venues, and planning tools you need to make your day totally you. Having helped plan 25 million weddings, we've got your back when it comes to every little detail like RSVPs, budgets, and more. Because your wedding comes to life with the connections that matter the most. Get started at theknot.com/audio. The Knot. Let's plan your wedding together.
She fluent in that cash talk. Walk in the booth like Naomi on the catwalk. And tell them bitches whoop whoop from the Jaguar. It ain't even right though. Push me and I might go. She ain't getting money. I'm like, what the fuck the hype for? When them bitches bite flow, make my appetite go. Poof, gone, voila, magic. Looking mad good just to pull up on them rampant.
Welcome back to another episode of Unhinged and Immoral. I am Mecca.
I am Jamila.
And I had to show up with some hair on my head today because everyone was gassing Jamila up last week. And I was like, what am I? Chopped liver? I was sick and I was going through a freeze. So excuse me. I was trying to stay warm. But, well, my leave out is not doing what I needed to do right now. But luckily I have the, you know what this is, the headphones over it.
Mm-hmm. The headphones honestly has done such wonders. Like I never have to put on earrings because
I stopped completely trying.
It's not, it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Whatever.
And I'm not really an earring wearer. Like I have to like force myself to remember to wear earrings. But so that's comfortable. And I feel like since watching that last episode, I too was salivating over myself. I said, wow.
No, your makeup was really good.
I said, bring that bitch back. So I decided I'm just gonna
curls was it. Especially when you were reading people on Twitter. I was into it.
Dragging them while looking cute.
Speaking of Twitter, let's get it out the way.
Let's go ahead and do it.
It's funny because Jamila and I were on the phone before this, and she was like, I really don't want to talk about this because like we spent all yesterday talking about it. But we know you're going to ask about it. Yeah. What are your feelings on Tabitha Brown and the DEI rollbacks at Target and other stores?
So I'll start with the DEI rollback because that's easiest. I was the most unshocked at the stores. Yeah. Rolling back their DEI. The only thing that shocked me was them being stupid enough to announce it. Like, okay. Like, but I was like, okay, you announcing that you're rolling back your DEI initiatives lets me know that you want niggas to know that you don't give a fuck about them. Like, I want y'all to know this is a whites only pie. Like, that's what it gave. And so I was kind of like, okay, I guess, whatever.
And you know how I know that's true? Because companies that didn't roll back their DEIs, Ross, TJ Maxx, Costco, Dollar Tree.
Black ass.
My nigga stores, my black ass establishments that I frequent daily.
Establishments.
Thank you.
It was just like, heard you.
Bitch,
so
if
I was
Ross
very
had
unsurprised.
Did that shit, I'd have fell to my knees.
No, that would have been like,
if Ross had forsaken me, I would have felt, I wouldn't even know what to do.
Yeah, I was very unsurprised. And, but at the same time, it was disappointing because it's just like, you know, we knew that in 2020 when everybody was damn right I support it, you know, on TikTok and shit, and everybody was being like, no, I love blacks.
Was the damn right I supported a Macklemore reference?
Yes.
Same, damn right I support it. I haven't thought about that in a decade. What the fuck ever happened to him?
I don't know, bro. He's just being a white rapper somewhere. That's all I remember is that part because they were using it for fucking TikTok.
Change, even if
I tried.
That gay hip hop song that he beat Kendrick Lamar out for the Grammy for.
Like y'all really, you know, because don't get me fucking started on that bullshit.
It was the way. Remember I'm sorry, I'm reminiscing. Remember he apologized on Instagram that same night. He wrote like Kendrick a long ass paragraph.
Just stop.
It was
embarrassing. It was awkward.
But you know what? I love white guilt because the way Adele popped that Grammy in half
immediately, like
I'm so sorry, Beyonce. I'm so sorry.
The way Beyonce makes me feel. The way Beyonce makes my black friends feel.
This is horrible.
Oh don't say this. Who am I? You every time So it's like, yeah, exactly.
Feel
exactly.
bad. You know,
but the Tabitha Brown of it all, I felt two very strong ways about it. On one end, I'm like, now, Auntie Tab, love you down, love you to pieces. Why would you speak so soon on something that was so sensitive, especially considering people were going to have their opinions? I think just on a PR tip, she should have allowed there to be space for her to just like figure out where everybody was, you know, leaning and what their thoughts and sentiments were before she got up here,
you know,
doing that video.
They just talked about this on Wags about relatability. I think considering, like, if you think about their whole rise up from TikTok, part of the reason they were so like people like Tabitha and Choice and the whole family is because like they were this very relatable Black family during the pandemic. They happened to be vegans, which is what set them aside. Like that's what made them different. She was like hippy dippy, but it was very relatable. It was very wholesome. It was Black family core. It was the Huxtables of it all in the midst of Bill Cosby's legacy crumbling. So I think a whole bunch of stuff was happening at once. And the relatability that she had 4 or 5 years ago, you don't have that no more because you're like a millionaire. And we know you're a millionaire because we've watched you elevate and a lot of people are happy for you. But in that, I really do think that she thought she was going to get on the internet and talk to us like, hey guys, like, let's just talk like da da da. And it's not that. It can't be that because we're not in the same tax bracket.
Right. And I think that's the part that stuck out to a lot of people, which I understand. However, I think that people were starting to do what they always do. Oh, I been hated this bitch. Now relax.
Because when they said the Afro pit cutting board was ugly, I said, why are you guys lying? That shit is hard as fuck. It's cool.
Like now y'all get to a place.
I remember when she dropped the Afro pit cutting board and everyone was going up over it.
Hold on. What the fuck? I keep turning. No.
Is that a nigga?
It was a 1-800 bill collector.
A bill collector?
Get the fuck out of here.
They said you're broke, bitch. Give us our goddamn money.
It's just like whenever these things happen where somebody makes some sort of mistake, the way people respond by letting out all of their vitriol that comes out of nowhere, it's like you were holding on to that because I've never heard anybody speak like that about Auntie Tab ever.
I have.
Really? I've never seen that.
You know what's crazy is it's just the tale as old as time. People just sit and kind of wait for your moment to dunk on you because I have definitely been on sides of the internet that do not care for her. I've seen those tweets. So I feel like a lot of people were kind of shocked at it. I wasn't because I've seen it and this was an actual like valid critique, something valid to critique her on and to just dump on everything. What I was saying in my TikTok videos, I see both sides. I think that she made some very good points. Yeah. And I think that if we're going to be intentional about boycotting, we need to mirror our elders and the civil rights movement and literally for real be intentional. So often the planning of the civil rights movement is lost because it's just served up to us in school and not even that.
And it all seems so
willy-nilly and
it's
simple.
Like,
and it's not. Like,
yeah.
The way that each city, like for the bus boycotts, Montgomery was intentional. The way they chose their routes, the way like that was all planned and it was planned based on the demographics of the city. The churches and the mosques were integral in the civil rights movement. And I think I said this on TikTok, what we're missing, not necessarily the church, but the church, because if you, or the mosque, because by the religious leaders being at the helm of the civil rights movement, it forced people to move, at least the leaders, to move in like with a moral upright compass. I can't call you a dumbass bitch because I don't agree with you. I'm a preacher. Do you get what I'm saying? I have to talk to you and I have to really bring you in. And that's where if you think of like my brother, my sister, it's a way for me to be like, yo, I'm you. We're here. We're on the same team. And the lack of community and everyone wanting just to simply get an I gotcha moment, that's going to be the downfall of everyone. Because I know when I was talking yesterday,
with empathy.
Yeah, we're not leading with empathy. And when I was talking yesterday, I wasn't even saying like, I'm not going to boycott Target. Like I go to Target for two things. And one of them is Tabitha Brown products. So it was like, I was like, but she made some excellent points.
She
like,
did.
She did.
And that
she
was
made some
kind of what I wanted
excellent
to.
Points.
Yeah,
like,
I think that. I think that her video, while I agreed it was tone deaf and it probably wasn't the right timing, I do think it was a conversation to be had because I honestly didn't even think about that at all. I didn't think about how it was going to impact all of those Black and brown business people because specifically with Target, because of the DEI initiatives that they brought in, they specifically sought out Black-owned brands and LGBTQ owned brands, indigenous brands, to bring them in and kind of give them a highlighted moment. You know, they have their own shelves, they have their own pieces and collaborations with Target to kind of highlight those businesses. And so think about how this rollback is going to affect them twofold. On one, because a lot of people are not going to want to support Target anymore. And on the twofold, because the DEI initiatives are rolling back, imagine all of those businesses also being rolled back. I can see it to where they're basically like saying, yeah, let's go ahead and let y'all finish out these contracts. Then get your Black ass out of here.
I mean, that's fair and that's valid. And we've seen that happen. And even outside of that, like having the experience in retail that I do, they're signing contracts. Like Tabitha Brown was in Target because of the DEI initiatives. Yes. But the reason Tabitha Brown got all the like, if you look at everything she has in Target, it's because we're buying it. Yeah. It's because they're selling off the shelf. They're selling. And people were saying, oh, well, this shit's on clearance. Yeah, because shit does go to clearance. Like you do have overflow, but there's no way they would keep giving her shit. Like
keep coming out with new
do you
products
know what I'm saying?
too.
In my
they're
lifetime,
putting money
I
behind
could
her.
off the dome come up with 5 celebrity brands that have been in Target. Victoria Beckham, a lady who makes the Vera Wang had one, and then there was one lady with start with an I. Like celebrity brands that have been in Target and are no longer there because they were not selling the way they were supposed to. So for Tabitha Brown to have multiple products in Target and have been there for a couple years, that means her products are doing well. They're selling. And yeah, they go to clearance sometimes. But for the most part, they're doing what they need to do because these people have her locked into like this 5-year contract that she was talking about.
We're going to take a break.
Imagine what's possible when learning doesn't get in the way of life. At Capella University, our game-changing FlexPath learning format lets you set your own deadlines so you can learn at a time and pace that works for you. It's an education you can tailor to your schedule. That means you don't have to put your life on hold to pursue your professional goals. Instead, enjoy learning your way and earn your degree without missing a beat. A different future is closer than you think with Capella University. Learn more at capella.edu.
You found your person. Now let the knot help you with everything else. The knot connects you to the wedding inspo, vendors, venues, and planning tools you need to make your day totally you. Having helped plan 25 million weddings, we've got your back when it comes to every little detail like RSVPs, budgets, and more. Because your wedding comes to life with the connections that matter the most. Get started at theknot.com/audio. The Knot. Let's plan your wedding together. And we're back.
And I've seen a few people on Twitter, which we already know how Twitter goes. You know, Twitter is the place where everyone seems to be an expert on something. I seen somebody say, well, her dumb ass just needs to take all of her products and open up a shop on her own. Okay.
She can't
I know you thought that was a smart idea, but her product line was not a product line before Target. It is specifically a Target product that is in collaboration with Tabitha Brown. Let me tell you, from having experience working with Target directly, you are signing an NDA that is airtight, and that contract is ironclad, bitch. She is locked in a 360 deal until she get out that motherfucker. She can't just say, let me go ahead and grab these products and, you know what I'm saying, put them on my own website. No, those are not her sole projects. Now, she may have a little bit of capital within it. She may have a little bit of onus to it, but I promise you that when she leaves the contract on Target, them products are leaving too. She cannot take all that. It's probably not even all of her intellectual property. Y'all have got to stop pretending to know everything.
She has crock pots. She has air fryers. She has a lot of stuff. The only thing that makes it completely Tabitha Brown, the difference between Tabitha Brown and the Drew Barrymore shit, is Drew Barrymore shit is white woman muted.
Exactly.
Colors.
And Tabitha is
all
like
patterns and all shit.
You already know her for being so colorful. I was
thinking this.
Yeah.
She might be okay because quirky white bitches love her shit. Her shit is, And I was thinking this yesterday. I was like, you know what? If Black people are gonna like, of course, like things like the Afro pick fucking cutting board won't sell. But a lot of her stuff, it's very quirky white woman adjacent.
Yeah,
like she can still get
think
sales.
about the things that she's dropping in in Target. They're not these, these products that she's inventing. These are regular household products that are already going to be sold. They are just geared towards being branded through her. Mm-hmm. So this idea that she can simply snap her fingers and break her contract and just sell them on her website, like, no, that's just not how things work. And I think that her kind of bringing attention to that, because it's not just her that is inside of this kind of exclusivity deal, then it does make you think like, damn, like that is a good point. And what will happen after these contracts run its course? And I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, they're millionaires, they'll be okay. That's fair, but that's also like not the point. It's not about whether or not they're millionaires. It's about the fact that all of these Black-owned businesses, LGBTQ, and other POC businesses that were specifically granted access into Target are going to be shut out. That's an issue. That is horrible. Whether they made a lot of money or not, that's really besides the point. Black-owned businesses, Black-owned brands are being shut out and being put to the back burner. Yes, we can talk about ways on how to like advance and move forward, but that's just, y'all are trying to have 3 conversations in one. Like,
yeah, no, I mean, I like the people, well, at least I respect the people who are just like, what Alexis say? Ain't nobody bigger than the program. Kind of like, Tab, you just gonna have to be a martyr in this shit.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and say that. Don't sit up here, you know what I'm saying? Right. Like, don't say what she's saying is some bullshit. Don't say,
right.
But you just go ahead and say,
just be like, I love you.
Some people gonna have to fall on their sword. Yeah. That's valid. Like, I feel like that's valid to say versus saying she's blowing smoke, because she did make some valid points. Yeah. Another thing I wanted to bring up was, and bringing it back to like the intentionality of the civil rights movement and how they planned based on cities, and like the churches were going around canvassing and getting statistics and all these type of things, because I feel like people in big cities and even mid-sized cities, y'all downplay small town America a lot. And when I say, and I only had a special fixation on small town America because a couple summers ago, this girl got on TikTok and said being homeless in the Caribbean is so different from being homeless in the United States. And that's caused me to fall down the rabbit hole of food deserts and all this shit. And if you look like, even a couple months ago, remember that girl on TikTok had scurvy, and she was explaining how she got scurvy because her local grocery store was 10 miles away and she doesn't have a car. And the closest thing is a convenience store and a grocery store. That is such a, like, the United States is so big, and these small towns added up make so many people. So yes, and even the TikTok I made yesterday, I had those people in my comments. I had those people literally saying, after that, I have a Target here, and then after that, the closest grocery store is 45 minutes away. Yeah, they were, and I mean, like, they were showing themselves. They're saying, "I live in this." Someone from Mobile, bitch. That's remember I told you. I said someone from Mobile.
It is only one of everything.
No, literally, this girl said, "I live in Mobile, Alabama, and I want to be honest. In order to get my necessities, this would be really hard. Having to boycott Walmart, having to boycott Target to get my necessities that I need, like everyday items that I literally need, like to wash my ass, would be incredibly hard. I would have to go hours out of the way." And I think people don't think about that piece of it. It's not as cut and dry. So what I suggested was, if anyone, I can't say, it can't be me. I've got too much going on already. But like, if anyone is serious about it and being intentional, boycotting Target in a city like Houston is easy. That's an easy ask. There's so many Black-owned. We have a Black-owned grocery store. We have a couple Black-owned grocery stores. Like, that's an easy ask and replacement. You cannot ask someone in Mobile to boycott Target, Walmart, because the next shit is an hour away. And those people are telling you that. And you looking at them and being like, ass out of luck. That's not what they did in the civil rights movement. When they boycotted them buses, motherfuckers were volunteering to drive them. You have to come up with something to help people.
I even seen somebody on Twitter. Of course, they were trying to be funny and they were trying to be snarky, but I'm going to still respond because this is an educational moment here. Oh, you might as well boycott Meta, and then you might as well boycott Amazon. You might as well boycott Walmart. See, I know you're trying to be funny, but let me break this down to you. If we're just saying, let's not support businesses that don't support us, baby, we'll be out of 99% of these businesses, okay? Just being frank. But also, boycotts work because they are strategic And they are very fixated, okay? They're not, during the bus boycott, they're not saying, let's boycott this, and this. They're saying we're going to do something very specific. So it needs to be very targeted. It needs to be centralized, and it needs to be organized. And you need to have a fallback plan for if this cannot go according to plan for other people. I guarantee you there were probably somebody who still had to take the bus within the bus boycott, but that one person did not.
Baby, they ran through the Rosa Parks sit down. What was the lady who sat down first? She's still alive.
Mm-hmm.
They did that shit and then there was a man who did it too. What the thing is they were running down tests. Like Rosa Parks was not the first person to sit down and refuse to get up. And that's what and that's the part that if you do not talk to your elders and if you are not intentional about learning this information, that you would not know.
Because when it happened the first time, they realized, no shade. This is literally what happened. They said she is dark skinned, she is younger, and she is pregnant. This is not going to do what we needed it to do.
They started with a man, then they went to that lady, and then they went to Rosa Parks. Even if you think about even how when we talk about colorism, and sometimes people be like, why are all the civil rights leaders light skinned? Because they got in a room and literally said, okay, who they gonna listen to?
Who are they gonna listen to?
You don't think they knew what they like? I sometimes I feel like because the tides are shifting in terms of how we talk about colorism. People act like our ancestors were like just blanket okay with colorism. And that's not true. Dark skinned people have existed for what the fuck ever. You think that do you get what I'm saying? So if you go back, you know how W.E.B. Du Bois and Marcus Garvey was always funking and beefing? We haven't even came up with no new insults. Marcus Garvey used to call W.E.B. Du Bois a goddamn Spaniard. And what do y'all get mad and call Cardi B when y'all mad? A damn Mexican. You get what I'm saying? We ain't even came up with nothing new. These people were doing the same thing we were doing. So to say that they didn't understand the construct that they were in and how they could move within it. So people like me and Jamila saying hold on, hear her out. And how can we move within the construct that we are currently existing in? That should not make you mad. That should not piss you off.
And I think it's okay to say, okay, maybe this isn't the right course of action. Let's figure out what is going to make an impact. Because you also have to think, you have to kind of work backwards. What do you want to be the end goal? What is the end goal here, right? If the end goal is for Target to shut down completely, fuck Target, then that's going to be a completely different frame of work than if you just want a DEI put back in versus if you want more Black people to work there versus if you think about what do we as a community feel like is the most beneficial outcome and then figure out how we're going to get there. You get what I'm saying? And I think that sometimes we just make rash decisions, which it's understandable because it's a lot of times based off of emotion. Oh, fuck them. I don't want to support them. It's still do that. Still say fuck them and not support them. But while you're saying that, think about all the implications. Think about all the people it will impact and think about how we will assess and move forward. Because thinking about, now this is kind of a skewed example, but thinking about the whole boycotting the NFL, that was the most unsuccessful boycott I've ever seen in my life. Because one thing about them niggas, they wasn't giving up their football.
Thinking niggas wasn't going to give up their football was crazy.
They weren't giving up their football, but you also have to think about what they were trying to do was essentially, it was all centered around one person being unemployed. And he's now trying to go back and work there. You see how unsuccessful that was because it didn't make sense.
No offense, Cap. Really appreciate for you for what you did, but
Stop. Why do you even want to go back and play, nigga? You're actually irritating the shit out of me trying to fucking practice. Nigga, stop. Mind you, what he was doing, it made sense, right? He's saying, I'm not going to stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance because, I feel like X, Y, and Z, police brutality, blah, blah, blah. Cool. He was shut out for that. Okay, cool. So y'all decided I am going to no longer watch the NFL, but y'all didn't realize, y'all didn't centralize the reason you weren't going to watch the NFL, right? For you were like, that's wrong what they doing to that young man. I'm no longer going to watch it, but y'all were still watching it. Y'all were just not going to loudly support them. But the views did not shake or waver for the NFL. I want y'all to know that. They did not shake or waver. They didn't give a fuck about none of that shit. As a matter of fact, they said, Colin, you will never work here again. And he didn't. Because what were we really trying to do? Get Colin back on the field? Unsuccessful. Were we trying to stop police brutality? Unsuccessful. We're boycotting the wrong thing. The NFL, what real power do they have to really stop police brutality? It's an entertainment industry. Yes, of course they're powerful. Of course they're white supremacists. Of course all of those things are true. But y'all are focusing on the wrong thing. Focus on the people who are policymakers. Figure out how we can hit those people. I think that's what, like, I don't know the answers. Don't ask me, baby. I don't damn know.
What I will
I'm
say
just posing questions.
Is when I went to Judge Lillian Alexander's swearing in last week on MLK Day, her swearing in was so intentionally Black. Like, it was they had people from the church choir singing. We sang the Negro national anthem. We sang church songs. Her family spoke. And also in that, she was really intentional in who she invited to that. In addition to her family, in addition to her sorority sister, she's a Delta, there were a lot, there were like 2 white people in the room. And everyone in that room was predominantly, I want to say, like, doing something in Houston. And we were all of a certain age. We were all younger because she's under 40. And she did that because she felt we're the next generation. It's time for us to step up. I think that, you know, we can talk about ageism and how the elders don't want to, like, sit down. But I'm looking around and it's like no one's trying to stand up either.
Hello?
No one's trying to stand up either.
We
and
try.
So,
y'all want Papa to sit down. You got to stand up.
And so, like, I left that swearing in so inspired. I was with most of the Black politicians here in Houston. And I think so often, because we are in the small percentage, we think there are not people on our side. We think there are people not in those spaces advocating for us. I was sitting there with them. I was talking to them. I was seeing the conversation. I was ear hustling the conversation they was having about what they was finna do on Monday when they got back to work. I met a couple, you know, judges over different districts, and just sitting there talking to them. Mind you, she had it catered with barbecue and banana pudding. There was a bar sponsored by Uncle Nearest. It was so
the way
Black.
You say barbecue is so California.
How do I say barbecue? How do I say
barbecue?
She had barbecue.
It's like barbecue.
Oh, barbecue. Because I articulate all my words. How do you say it?
Barbecue.
You said barbecue too.
It's just, they'll hear it.
Should I say BBQ?
It sounds like you said Barbie, as in like Barbie
barbecue.
Dreamhouse, and then Q. And it's like, it's barbecue.
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 And she had
and it was barbecue. Good. It was good as shit. She had baked beans, dirty rice, all type of shit. We was in there grubbing for real. Had the Uncle Nearest flowing, girl. That shit was lit. But what I will say, I was listening. And there are people who are advocating, who are trying to enact change within the system that we're living under. And I just feel like a lot of times we get pessimistic, especially post-election. Like, fuck this. They don't give a fuck. You know, Michael Jackson, they don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? So it's like being in the...
like... this is like record timing for how serious we've been this entire episode. We've been like serious. Like, so it was like a matter of time before we started to get stupid.
No, because the way that we kind of did when we were singing the Macklemore and we brought it back in, in my head, I said, oh my God, we did such a good job. We brought it back in. But yeah, I know. I keep saying this, but there are Black people working for y'all. There are Black people trying to enact change.
And maybe some of y'all need to get the fuck up and do some shit too.
It's time to step up. Like, I was really, really sitting there thinking, I was like, oh my God, I am finna be 29. Like, it is my time. You know, like, she's sitting there making her speech and I'm like, oh, she's talking to me. Like, and I'm looking around, she's still like, I invited all of you for a reason. You know,
This is one of them things where you gotta find your role and you need to stick to it. Everybody is not going to be Malcolm X. And everybody loves Malcolm X, but you're not built to be Malcolm X.
Some of you niggas is Harlem Red, the bisexual prostitute, the thief, and that's okay too. We need you. We do.
Hello.
It's the oldest profession in the world.
It is.
We're gonna take a break. And we're back.
I'm gonna make a slight pivot because I got a bone to pick. You niggas infantilize our civil rights leaders so much so that y'all have completely changed who they are and what they did for our community. Y'all look at them as if they are just like these celebrities that were just so famous and so popular at the time. Them niggas were being chased after. That's why they're all damn dead. You get what I'm saying? Y'all put the Black Panthers on this pedestal, but y'all don't know shit about them. Y'all don't know about the 10-point plan. Y'all don't know that they were communists. Y'all don't know that them niggas were rapists. Oh! Hate to break it to you, a lot of them niggas hated women. They were fucking horrible. Not to say that they didn't do great things. They did. But you have to tell the whole story. You niggas want to be new Black Panthers so fucking bad, but you don't know shit about them. You guys want to talk about MLK. He was so peaceful. He was so goddamn disillusioned by the end of it. He said, I'm not going to lie. I didn't steer my people to damn hell. My bad. I didn't realize how fucked up the fucking U.S. was.
It was because of the Vietnam War. He was really a Christian. He really believed in
he really tried.
Okay, we're not really supposed to be killing each other, and he was very.
Then he said, some of you niggas got to get put to sleep for good. You niggas don't really read, and it's apparent because the way you will use your leaders, your ancestors in vain. It's ridiculous. Y'all don't know shit about what's going on. Y'all want to act like y'all can be Malcolm X so bad, but you're not willing to look at the religion that you're practicing and look at the flaws.
Well, okay, you gonna get them tight.
Oh,
don't make me go get my Koja cat.
Oh,
let's talk about that, Jamila, because as I would consider myself religious, and I'm publicly religious. Mm-hmm. I think the main thing that has really cemented my belief is the fact that I have done what you're doing. I've asked the questions that you've asked. I've done the research, and I also like with my dad being Muslim, that was, and I wasn't even raised in a church where asking questions was against. I don't want to sound uppity. Because there's uppity Black churches, but
you uppity nigga.
Yeah, you uppity niggas. But my pastor was educated, so it was always presented to us as a church. How are you going to get to know God if you don't ask questions? And when I had questions, I would ask my pastor or my mom or the Sunday school teacher. I'll never forget. We were sitting there learning about Noah and the Ark, and when I was in children's church, not Sunday school, and I was sitting there as the story was going on. I was in 3rd grade, bro. I was I kept raising my hand. And I remember I said, Sister Bacon, shout out Sister Bacon. Does that mean the brothers and the sisters was having sex? She shut my shit down so quick. She said,
Mecca.
And I was really I was perplexed because the more that you talking about you recreating a world, it's 2 and 2, it's your kids, and all of a sudden you reading that means. And I didn't even really have a concept of sex, but my mom was very big on this is your vagina, these are your breasts, so that if something ever happened, we could clearly point yes, touched my vagina. I've been saying that word since I was 3. So I knew what sex was. I didn't know how it happened, but I knew that's how babies were made. So it was I know brothers and sisters aren't supposed to be having sex.
One thing I do know is
that.
That ain't right.
And the way they went, so they took me to my pastor's office. And he sat there and explained it to me. He said, yeah. He said, yeah, that's what happened. They said, that's what God wanted. Mind you, that's why when they be getting mad at me on TikTok for asking type of questions and being very, very inquisitive and just being very questioning, it's always funny because there's Sister Bacon's son Thaddeus. He follows me on TikTok and he keeps up with everything. And he'd be in the comments y'all don't even know. Y'all don't even know. This ain't even no shit. This ain't even no new shit. She always been on this. I was
yeah. I come from the type of churches where you ask the wrong question if you want to, and you're being shut down. And so, and my experience, I have a very different experience with religion. I have a very different place with religion. I wouldn't consider myself to be religious because I don't necessarily practice the laws of the book, if that makes sense. I don't necessarily go by the book because I just think that I'm a strong believer that you should adapt the word to the time that you're in, because things just change. Society changes, and you should adapt and assess and change with it, because if not, bitches would be dead right now. The shit that they was doing in the fucking Bible made sense for biblical times, because they didn't even have doctors. You know what I'm saying? Like the shit that the things that was going on there did not make sense. And I remember I was talking to my dad about this, and he said something so profound. Have to give that nigga his 10s, that bald head man.
What he say?
Because I was really just like, do you, Daddy, now, Break, you know you a science nigga. You know, what? Something don't make sense to me. And he put it basically in like, you have to think about perspective. Back in that time frame, you know, the average height of men was about 5 feet, 5 something, right? So imagine a nigga like LeBron walking through. It would appear to be a giant, wouldn't it? And I said, damn. That's a really good point. Our perspective changes when we evolve as people. The things that they did not have a lot of information for. So the explanations that they have for so many things are going to match the descriptions that they have with their limited vocabulary. Them niggas were not even equipped to understand the way our solar system worked at the time. And that's not to make them seem like they're just stupid. We just did not have the information. Now, present day, the Mayans knew a little bit
about the sun and the stars, though.
They knew something, but you know, we just didn't have as much information. So now fast forward to present day, where we actually have satellites out in space, where we can see different things, where we have experiments that are giving us answers to everything. Our explanations have changed. Now, to me, that doesn't say that there is now the absence of a God. It just means that a lot of the stories in the Bible, to me, should be looked at as fables, and should be looked at as a way to understand life, and as a way to kind of cause you to think about things a little bit more. Not for you to live your life based off the Bible exactly, because there's no way that you could, because the Bible in itself is contradictory. And it's like that on purpose, because them niggas were writing the shit that was happening and correcting themselves as they go along. So when people try to use the Bible to condemn gay people, I'm like, well, that's interesting. You're contradicting yourself within the contradiction of the contradiction. And that's the part of religion that frustrates me, when people try to use it to condemn other people.
The Bible has been translated. Mm-hmm. And the word that they were talking about for that they replaced homosexual with
was
actually
pedophilia.
Yeah, it was actually a grown man who was trying to play with a young boy. It's a pedophile. So,
exactly.
You know, perspective, yes. And that's what's crazy. I often think about that, like, y'all are so quick to condemn people, and God was trying to condemn y'all raping children. Like, we don't even have the whole Bible, because that big fat asshole man in whatever England, it says you cannot keep killing bitches. You cannot keep cutting bitches' heads off.
The Black people love to put up the King James Version as if it is the Holy Grail, and nothing. You could never question the King James Version. Him and Shakespeare was in bed together writing that book and translating.
Who do you think was beating whose back in?
Shakespeare was.
I think Shakespeare was
a femme top.
It was, you know how he got the bald up here, little party in the back. It's the way in way.
Shakespeare was a femme top.
He had a little dom energy about him in that portrait.
And all I'm saying is, for you, the same niggas who say, no, the Bible is not up for interpretation. So why are you reading an interpreted Bible?
Hello.
Oh. Thank you. So I'm gonna do what I feel is best for me, and you do what's best for you. But please don't try to tell. I can't. Like the super Christians who feel like it's their duty to send me to hell, bitch. You're going first. I promise you. If it's up to me, it's me and you, bitch. You going.
I don't understand that, and I know that Christianity is approached from like an evangelical spirit. For me personally, I've always felt like, and at least it was presented to me, like we're saying, our experiences with religion is very different. And I've realized that the more I've grown up, and I'm really thankful that my parents presented it the way they did. My mom always said, I can do it's my job as your mom to show you like the way, in terms of like, you know, train a child up in the way they should go. Now, if you choose not to follow that, I've done what God asked me to do. So the rest is on you. And so from there, it's like, do you have your own relationship with God? I had to figure shit out for myself. And asking certain questions is imperative. I don't think that it's anyone's business what your relationship with Jesus Christ is. I think y'all are too interested in business that's not yours. When the Bible is quite literally telling, not to name names. No, I'm serious. Like when the Bible quite literally tells us, like, you cannot judge. Only
That's
God
the thing
can
with
judge.
when people decide to take their new walk into Christianity to get closer to God.
I don't think you should be on the internet with that shit.
The first thing that they do is start to look backwards and be like, you sinning bitches. And it's like, well, hold on. You just got that saying and sanctified Bob. And now all of a sudden you think that you can tell me what's going on in my life. You just found God today. Relax, okay? You just got baptized last week. You still got water behind your ears. I need you to pump the brakes before you get on this internet trying to condemn people. Okay.
What's so crazy is if folks led. It's not always what you say; it's how you say it too. That's the thing. I've often joked, but like I might do it for fun. The next shorty who wants to do the Christian girl rebrand, please let me help you. I can make you beloved because I only look at myself and I look at the way that I'm very open with like going to church. But I'm not judgy. I don't judge people. And I think that's the thing. And I personally respect people who are just able to say, hey, this is what I believe. I'm not trying to put this on you. If you have a question, and this is what my mom taught us, I should not have to tell you I'm a Christian. My spirit should lead that. I don't have to tell you I don't have to be on, I'm not coming to that party because I'm Christian. My action should show you. You know what I'm saying? Okay, girl. Like, but my action should show you. When y'all invite me out, and all I gotta say is, "Hey, girl, I'm just busy. It's good." And if you ask me, "Hey, why you not coming?" I can tell you, "Hey, that just don't align with what I got going." You don't have to be condescending. You can do everything that the girls do without being condescending like the girls are. That's the crazy part to me.
Exactly. The condemnation of it all is
you can let everyone know you're in church
out.
Every Sunday.
Yeah.
I do it. I may do my little without being like, and I'm going to church because y'all is sinners. I'm in church.
Right.
Girl, just do you a little church outfit of the day.
You see how Mecca goes to church every Sunday and Jamila doesn't? But there's no tension there because what the fuck does Mecca going to church have to do with me not going? And vice versa. Like for me, I have my own relationship with Christianity. I consider myself to be Christian by way of culture.
No, hold up. Let's talk about that.
A lot of people don't understand that religion is also very tied to culture. I was raised Southern Baptist. There's nothing, even if I was to become atheist today, I would still be like, oh my Lord. You know, because it's so ingrained into my culture. Not saying that I am an atheist. I still practice spirituality. I'm very spiritual. I believe in God. I believe in my ancestors watching over me. I believe in spirits. I believe in a whole lot of things. I do. I just am not religious when I say religious, specifically following the rules and regulations that are told to me by a pastor in a church that is guided by specifically the Bible. That is what I mean when I say I'm not religious, but it doesn't mean that I am not a Christian. It doesn't mean that I don't follow certain practices. Like I said, I am Christian by way of culture, not by way of practice. And I think that confuses a lot of people. They hear that and they're like, oh, you atheist, Satanist, bitch. And
it shouldn't be confusing considering the fact that the only free time the slaves had was on Sundays to go to church. Like I've talked about this on TikTok before, but I understand why people leave the church. I understand the energy. I'm never judging people for doing that. You got to do what's best for you. But you do lose a big chunk of your culture, especially if you're a Black American. So much of what we do are pastimes, even if you relate it to Sunday dinner. How many people eat fried chicken on a Sunday afternoon? I know my family does, like every Sunday. Fried chicken, mac and greens, and cornbread. Like that, these little practices, not little, this is like literally ingrained in your culture. And you, like you said, you'll find yourself doing things. And it's not necessarily you're doing it because you're always be religiously Christian.
Churchy. It's so funny because
churchy.
And one thing I love about this is a shameless plug. Shout out to Kev on stage. He is one of my fave internet people. I've been following him forever. He's super, super churchy, super, super religious, but he has never came across as condemning. He has never come across as like hateful. And I don't typically like to follow a lot of people who are super religious because that be their thing. Like it'd be cool for every other video. And the next thing you know, they're sending you to hell, and you'd be like, "Oh my God, I did not sign up for that." Oh my God,
damn!
Oh my God.
I mean, I know what God has said, but what if on my wedding night his dick is 3 inches? What do I do then?
Like, okay, girl, I can't. So one thing I love about Kev is
God,
he talks about how like it don't matter what you get into. Like when you was really raised in the church, you can always be churchy. I'm like, that's me. Like I'm gonna always be churchy. Like I can't help but keep a little bit of that in me because from birth, like I stopped going to church when I was probably like 19, 20. That was like, it's been a while. Like I don't have the desire to
do
go
you
back.
think that you're going to, so just to your point, to be culturally churchy, do you want to raise Noah going to church so he knows like that part of the culture? Or I know that we've talked about you like Noah can do his own thing, but like culturally speaking.
He's gone to church before. I know his dad has taken him to church. I mean, who's going to take him if I'm not going? You know, like if he's with me and I'm not going.
He don't be going with your parents?
My parents don't go.
Oh.
Putting my parents' business out. My parents ain't been to church in a minute too. Now that wasn't not they're not going to church is not the same reason as me not going to church. Like my dad is retired now. He used to play in church, like the guitar. The church that they went to is no longer in person, like at all. So it's like they just don't really be going anymore. I don't think it's necessarily they're opposed to go. I'm sure my mom will find another church at some point. She's kind of like a little bit more churchy. I don't have an issue with them taking Noah to church. Like I'm not like anti-God or anti-church. Like I don't necessarily care, but I do want to be able to have open conversations with him about just things because I know for me, there were a lot of things I heard in church growing up that really just made me feel so bad about myself. Like I literally felt like the worst human. And I'm not even gay. And so now I can just imagine how my siblings felt like, because I felt like I was just going to hell, like about as far as the promiscuity. Mind you, a lot of the things I heard about promiscuity happened before I even ever had sex, before I even did anything. But just the way they talked about women, specifically the way they talked about how women were not leaders, the way they would talk about how men are to be the heads of the households and they always are to lead. I remember specifically my church was adding a new, they were basically having like an election for a new pastor because one of the pastors were leaving. And there was a lady pastor who was in the running. And I remember I actually really enjoyed her preaching. I was like, oh, she's tea. Okay, sister. Like I had never experienced a female pastor before in my life. So I was like, oh, this is tea. And she was doing good. She was very well received. And do you know that the men leaders in that church looked at them and said, we ain't finna have no lady leading this church. No. And she did not get it, even though it was up to a vote. Even the head women in that church were like, can't no woman lead this church? That, the misogyny within church, the sexual harassment in church. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna break my silence about this really quick, and I hope to shake a table or two.
Oh, shit.
We're gonna take a break.
And we're back.
This was right after I had come back from Hampton. So obviously I had been gone away for a little while. I came back to church because like I said, we was churchy. And as we're about to go back into the sanctuary, the piano player, whom I had been around for several years, at this time I had just turned 18, maybe 19, looked at me up and down and said, damn, you're really getting older.
How old was he?
Oh, there's more.
Oh.
Are you wearing underwear?
How old was he?
Close to 40.
Oh.
I had watched this man's children from the time I was like 15, 16.
Was he asking like, I mean, obviously in like a sexual innuendo, like
very much so.
Trying to be sexy. Are you wearing underwear?
Yeah.
Ew.
And insinuated how I had well endowed. from the time that he had last seen me.
Well, you are, but that's none of his business.
And it's like, what? I was so uncomfortable. Like,
yeah, I mean, duh.
You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, the things that I heard the men say about women inside of church, like, it was just ridiculous. Like, just listening to the way the pastors would speak about things. And then even just honestly hearing them talk about gay people. I'm not even gay. But that shit was, I'm like, that ain't right. That ain't right. Like, I just don't like that. Like, it was always about, like, for me, what I experienced with the preachers, 9 times out of 10, their sermon would be about the type of people who are going to hell. And if you don't get right with the Lord, you're going to hell. It was always like scary fear mongering. And for me, that don't register to me. I've never understood why a lot of preachers would not get up there and be like, let's talk about manifestation. Let's talk about all the goodness in the world. Let's talk about the state of the world. I don't know. Like, why is it always so condemning?
The church I go to now was started by a man, William Alexander Lawson. And he was very heavily involved in the civil rights movement. We have pictures of, like, him and Dr. King together with his wife. There's literally a social justice ministry. Like, when Palestine was happening, like the weekend that shit really blew, you get what I'm saying? On socials, I can always count on my pastor to talk about it. And I can always count on him to be on the right side of history. He hasn't disappointed me yet. Because when he was in the pulpit when a lot of pastors were just siding with Israel based on blanket, it's the last, the problem. He said,
the misunderstanding of what Israel is, mind you.
I don't even want to get into that. I don't even want to get into that. This man got up there and said, children are dying. Children do not, children being bombed is not of God. And there's no way you can say that's of God. I say, clock it.
Period.
A lot of gay people go to my church because, and it's like clear because it is a very accepting church.
Yeah. I've seen a resurgence of, like, gay people going back to church and kind of like this, like, I guess like we talked about earlier, like, there's a new surgence of just people, like, the times are shifting. There's a new evolution of people going in. And so I'm sure, like, there are some younger preachers, young hip preachers who's getting a little secular with jeans and things.
No. This is a traditional Black church. We don't wear jeans in the pulpit. I don't like that. I'm sorry. I don't like that. That's my problematic old head take. I don't want my pastor in jeans or sneakers. I need a robe. Thank you. What I will say was important for me, to your point about talking about gay people, they did talk about gay people in the pulpit, but not at the level that they do in the South. And again, I will take it back to even my first day at Hampton, hearing how people, like, being from California, that political correctness, I had never even heard people use. I'd heard Tyler, the Creator, use the F word just because he was outlandish, but that was like outlandish. No one was using it in conversation. I remember I was sitting outside of DC and I heard boys just using it. I was like, you can't say that.
It was very used.
Yeah. Even though even with the churches, it's like, it would come up, but it was not the vigor. It was not the that you get out here in the South. And when Little Moms first came to live with me, her older sister is a stud. So, and Dejanay, my cousin, who was also like a stud, we were all living under one roof. And so we were trying to go back to church, but I wasn't going to go to a church that was going to be preaching like this, right? There was a church like 2 minutes from my house. When I say this was literally God, because I said, oh my God, I just let me find a church. I clicked on their sermon from the weekend before and I just clicked to a random spot. Bitch, the random spot in the fucking YouTube sermon was him going off on gay. And what is a they and a them and a she and a shim?
And thank you. That'll be all.
When I said, and one thing about my God, he answers me when I talk. For
Not
real.
That one.
Because I said, please, he literally said, not that one. Not that one. Because why are you raging so hard on pronouns right now?
Too much.
That has nothing to do. Just nothing.
Yeah. Even the sector of random denouncing, like, I'm denouncing this because I would not praise a Greek god. Like, girl, shut up.
You didn't think that when they was beating your ass, like, allegedly?
Okay.
I don't think you're smart. I just think you're stupid at that point.
And it's like,
just like,
what Greek
I
god
don't know if you remember that
praising?
when I got into it with that AKA who denounced over like literally a Christian conversation. I said, I'm not going back and forth with no bitch who let bitches beat her up and then said, never mind.
Shut up. Girl, please.
Shut up. Stupid.
I can't take y'all seriously. I think y'all are not on the same Christianity wave as some of y'all in a whole different type of Christianity.
Why don't you just go get in your prayer cupboard and be normal? Like, what are we talking about? So
yeah, I've like thought about, trying out some of these new wave churches, like, because I'm the type of bitch, I would live for a jeans in the pulpit and sneakers, and
there's so many now,
and rolling your sleeves up. There are, but I also
there's so many
have seen some of their like, and I like that would definitely get me in the door. But if I hear one thing that I ain't coming back,
you're gonna hear that soft rock.
I don't like it. Like if I see one thing, if I hear one thing from the pulpit that is problematic, I would just be instantly enraged. So I'm kind of like, maybe I should just...
it's still church. I haven't heard anything problematic, though. The only things that I hear that's problematic is not from my pastor. And I'm like, I think that's a really good sign. The things that I've heard that I've been like, I don't really agree with that is like whenever it's a visiting pastor. But I like visiting. I like how Dr. Cosby leads with like love. He leads with a lot of love. And I think that's what the world needs right now.
We do. I don't need my pastor yelling at me, telling me I'm going to hell. Like, I might, but like, please don't tell me that right now. I'm just trying to vibe.
All these people.
Like, I was literally just happy, and now you just ruined my whole. Like, I don't even feel like eating Sunday dinner after this. I am, but like, you just ruined my fucking day, bro.
I'm still gonna eat.
Like that shit used to like I literally used to think I was going to hell, bro. Like every Sunday, like, bro, I'm going to and I'm like, it ain't shit I could do, and I'm like, I just could not believe the things that they were saying. So I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm going to hell. And then when I would be in like Sunday school and Bible study, I would ask questions. They'd be like, oh, okay, well, let me just shut my fat ass up then, huh? Oh, okay.
They said you can't ask shit.
Yeah, like no. Okay.
This is also a random churchy old head coded take. I know I said I don't like jeans, and I know I said I don't like soft rock. I also really, really do not like. I don't like non-denominational churches that are like overall overarching too casual. I don't like when there's no like order of program. Why?
You old bitch.
I'm like the thing is.
Just say, hold on.
What are we doing? Like, okay, thank you, but Jamila, this is where we're talking about like Black culture and how we do things and how like the pastor I had growing up, he founded, so that was a Black Baptist church, and then he went and started another church that's non-denominational. Non-denominational. I was telling my mom, it's too much for me. It's too much. They be having people bring their dogs in there. No, they be bringing their dogs in there.
Now was it a white church?
There are a lot of there. It's a very mixed crowd at this point.
Yes,
there are white people in there I've seen
and
dogs.
Baby, one thing about it, bitch, I went to a white church one time. Well, this is when my family had just moved to Georgia, so we trying to find a church home. We made the mistake in going to a white church. When I tell you they pulled out a CD player, bitch. Our God is an awesome God. I said, that is not how Kirk sing it. Dum, 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 he reign. Dum, 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 he reign. Dum, 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 he
you gotta hit the button.
Dum, 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 forever and ever. Like, yeah, that's what baby, where is...
And excuse me, I need an organ. Like, okay.
Y'all don't have instruments?
Listen, this is going to lead into this is what's wrong with R&B and why we only have biracial bitch R&B. And I love Kalani and I love Janae and 10 years ago, them was the only bitches making that light every thought. Like that's not R&B. I don't rhythm and blues. That's not R&B. That's Kalani and Janae. They're the only ones who can do it. Their sons hate it. Not into it. Y'all have an Asian lady. I don't even know what Asian she is talking about Pookie's Requiem. I thought that was a joke until 3 weeks ago. What the fuck are we doing?
Girl, listen, the babies are not being raised.
They're not raised in church.
They're not leading praise and worship. They're not a soprano or an alto.
You don't know
their range is this big.
They don't know what their range. They don't know what their range is. I know what my range is. They don't know that they can't actually sing, that they can hold a note. And that is also a big key here.
And let me tell you this, that also relates to why they can't sing live because they're not used to singing behind a real band. Because singing in the church will let you know how to sing with a real band, because singing with a real band is a little bit different than singing in that studio because the timing can change because we're working with humans here. You have to understand how to work with timing. understand how to hold a microphone. The new bitches be holding the microphone right here. It's directional, babes.
It's directional.
They can't hear you. But also it doesn't matter because they're lip singing.
Well, it doesn't, but you have to sing from your diaphragm. You can't, and the bitches be singing from their throat. And that's why your voice gets to shaking when you're trying to hold them long notes. Seriously.
And y'all smoke vapes.
And they smoke, well, the elders smoke cigarettes. So you could still get your shit off.
They did.
Y'all just don't have the training.
But then was Shirley Temple, Shirley Temple. That was Shirley Caesars. And their voices were so strong, not even a cigarette could
they were just eating grease.
You bitches' voices are already too light and you smoking a vape. Bitch, you only got a little bit of breath left in you. Come on now.
If I'm going to be real, if the woman leading the choir does not scream like Fantasia or J-Hud, honestly, keep it.
I need a screamer. I need a full choir, like Mississippi Mass type shit.
Yes.
I need a choir director who can also sing. Why can your choir director not sing?
Hey.
Why don't y'all have choir directors?
Whoa. Whoa, you're clocking T.
The music ministry, the head of the music ministry must be the one who's playing the piano.
Why doesn't your music director at least play an instrument? And do they even know that these hand signals actually mean things? They're just doing this.
Why is your drummer not a whore?
And why, and they don't even gotta be fine, but they do gotta be like an 8. They do gotta be like an 8. Why is your drummer
still dressing like it's 2012?
Well, in a sleeveless hoodie.
Why is half the choir not gay?
And they got mad at me when I said this. I said, y'all missing, it's the homosexuality that adds to gospel music.
That's the theater of it all. That's why they're good. They're gay. Hello?
Donnie McClurkin. Whitney Houston. What's his name? The Gifted looks good on you. Ooh, what's his name? The Gifted looks good on you. He has taken a vow of chastity. He's so damn gay. He don't even have no problem.
I won't just, how about I don't fuck nobody?
I don't do nothing.
How about that? God damn it. Like that
looks good.
The new choir, I remember.
Donald Lawrence,
thank you. Thank you, Melissa, the voice. Tonex.
Listen,
God is not forgot.
We have to bring gay back to the church. Y'all pushed all the gays out the church. Now y'all can't sing no more. Now y'all don't have any. Y'all don't have no more tambourine players.
Where do you think we got the tambourine saying? As Black people, yeah, baby, he plays the tambourine.
He played that tambourine, baby. Hello. Everybody used to be gay. And I loved all of those people in the church. They made me feel so safe.
There was a man at my church.
Until the preacher got started. Oh, here we go. I loved church right until the preacher started. Oh, God. I had a good time. I even loved the music was so lit. I used to love the little, where we get the communion. I loved everything except for the preachers. The preachers was always ass, no shade. Like, maybe it was just the preaching, for real. But I didn't see a lot of, I didn't see a couple of good sermons. Like, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I didn't say, okay, period. Wake that up. And then they would lose me. I was like, no.
This sounds mean.
But shout out to my OG pastor in Beaumont, Pastor John R. Adolph.
Cool. Are we shouting out pastors?
Yeah, and y'all Missionary Baptist Church. That's where my entire family in Beaumont goes. I had to just shout y'all out real quick. Shout out to my Olive Baptist Church in Mobile, Alabama. My entire family went there. Every funeral is there. Shout out to y'all.
Well,
period.
Shout out to Pilgrim Baptist Church in Sacramento, California. And shout out to, I grew up in Mount Sinai, but it's Journey now. Journey is non-denominational. But shout out to Pastor Brown.
Period.
And the dog who comes to church. Let's spin it.
We're going to take a break. And we're back.
Let's get into our segment, Spin It. This is where we take your messy, your salacious, your low down gutter snipe, nasty situations, and we give you a cutesy little PR spin on it. Now, I want to tell you, me and Jamila are not PR professionals. We just were communications girlies, and we really do love the hustle. So, Jamila, what do we have this week?
For the sake of the story, my name is Bella, and the landlord is Johnny. We Black, though. Important notice. So, I moved into this house in July. My landlord owns and lives in the house as well. 3 weeks in, we were fucking.
Wait, Johnny's the landlord? She's Bella. And they're fucking. Okay, keep going.
3 weeks in.
How'd that happen?
Messy, I know. Now it's December, and the vibes in the house are weird when we bring other people over. We hook up sometimes, but it's so confusing for me because we both want different things. But he says he likes me. He acts like he likes me some of the time, but he's a fuck nigga. And last week he made that clear. I threw a drink in his face because of what he said to me. I've brought guys over because he be playing games, and he has something slick to say about each and every one of them. One morning at 6:30 a.m., he was arguing with me because he wanted to know why XYZ was there the night before, because I said I stopped talking to XYZ. I asked, why the fuck does he care? He said, I'm having someone over late. I need to tell him for the safety of the house because he didn't recognize XYZ's car. Mind you, when he has a girl over late, I never know. Also, please know that I'm still paying rent as contracted. Anyway, child, I'm in this lease until next July, and I hate how he tries using me for convenience. And when I say no, he brings a bitch over. But then he gets mad when I have people over who actually want to pursue me seriously. I know I put myself in this situation, but what would y'all do?
Fuck that nigga. I'm paying bills here. The fuck? And you know what? I'm so... Whoa. Sister,
I have a really problematic thing for you to do, but...
Yeah. I want you to say it. They said we were problematic Did you see those comments last week?
I didn't.
They said this is fetishization, and you're encouraging it. I said...
What did we say?
The chocolate... The chocolate...
That wasn't last week. That was a couple weeks
ago.
ago.
I mean...
It's like the podcast
I told y'all these weren't going to be ethical.
And immoral, and it's unethical. Anyway, I do want you to get unethical because that's the whole point. But before you do that, I want to say, what about him made you fuck him in 3 weeks? That's my first question. But now that we're
3
here,
weeks is crazy.
Like, you're not even fully moved in.
Good God.
Like, but now that we're here, at the end of the day, did you sign a lease? And if you signed a lease and you're paying your rent, then what you do is really none of his business. Who you have over is none of his business. If you're real low down in gutter snipe, I would keep fucking him and also bring my niggas over. What are you going to do about it? Evict me? I'd like to see you try. That was going to be my advice. What was yours? Well, what is your unethical?
So what I was going to say is... a lease is a binding legal agreement. However, there are absolutely ways to break a lease, legally speaking. And considering you have a landlord and this is not a company, you can absolutely bully that nigga to break that fucking lease. You can simply say, I will sue you for sexual fucking harassment, nigga, if you try to keep me here. Because honestly, what he's kind of doing, not that it's sexual harassment, but if he's basically saying that you can only fuck me, bitch, what? But he can fuck other people?
Is that what he said? But that's how you perceive that?
That's how I perceived it. Like because he gets mad when she brings people over.
Yeah,
but he can bring people and he still wants to fuck her.
Yeah.
So it's like, you can't hold me to this unrealistic standard.
Yeah.
So what I will say is, this is how you're going to try to play this.
That is some kind of like control, though.
Right? It's a little
I don't think that would be sexual harassment, but that is something.
It is sexual.
It is?
It is. Yeah.
Clock it.
Oh,
if you're
okay.
If you're coercing somebody, if you don't have sex with me, then we're going to make things difficult. That is sexual harassment.
Hello?
Period. And keep that in. The voice of Melissa with all
keep that. Y'all heard her.
Came in.
You heard her.
It's sexual harassment.
But what I will say, before we get to suing him, here's how you can really use that twat for good. I want you to put it on him real good, right? And really talk him through it, right? And I want you to make him feel like he's the one. And tell him, I want $600 off of my lease. Right? You need to get you need benefits, bitch. How you popping that puss
I was gonna
with
say,
no benefits?
You've been fucking him since she said she moved in December.
Come
casually. And they don't know if they're fucking long term or not.
You better get some money off that goddamn rent, bitch. Ask him for at minimum $600 off that rent.
Yeah,
okay?
That makes sense.
And if he says no, threaten him with a bad time.
Well,
I'm just saying.
No, I think that what Jamila's saying is definitely an option, because I being uncomfortable in the space that you live in is just not gonna go. You can't be uncomfortable.
And he's not a roommate.
Yeah.
He's your landlord. He has a level of power over you that you're not realizing right now. Like, fuck no.
Yeah, and the whole like, oh, you gotta let me know who you have coming over. No, I don't. I've had roommates.
No, I don't.
I've literally had roommates before who I wasn't like friends with. I don't have to tell you.
And that's not in the lease agreement, bitch.
Yeah, I'm just doing this as a courtesy. Like, I guess. And honestly, maybe you try telling him you're having a nigga over. That's what he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Before you start the other shit Jamila said. Next time you have a nigga over, I'm having a nigga over. Like, give him what he wants.
Crack that face.
What's he gonna say? No? And if he says no, well, you know what you gotta do.
And fuck that nigga in the living room.
Honestly. That would be cool. I like couch sex. Depending on the couch.
Depending on the couch. It needs an armrest.
I like a good sectional. Because then you can do like a position change. Yeah,
you can get creative.
And then if you need to fall asleep, you can. And I'm grown enough that I don't really like, I like to sleep under a nigga, but I like to fall asleep under a nigga and then wake up and move. Like,
you're a scooter wearer.
I'm a scooter wearer. Because
make sure if you're fucking on the couch, there's a rug underneath, because once you get to the couch will move halfway across the living room.
It will. Maybe you want it to.
Hey.
Maybe that's what you want.
Something sturdy. If you want, make sure there's a rug of some sort. Yes.
That was a good one.
But I do want to know how the fuck you got into fucking your landlord in 3 weeks, bitch.
That was
some kind of crazy. I'm not gonna lie to you. You damn right. You did put yourself in this goddamn predicament.
I was gonna say that was a definition of shitting where you sleep.
He must have been really fine.
Or maybe she hadn't had sex in a while. And it was just like a mirror.
How did you let him swindle you into 3 weeks of dick?
And he said he likes her?
Like, what?
No, you don't. You don't know me.
And let me tell you something. That nigga be fucking every bitch he leased to. 3 weeks into you fucking
careful.
Bitch,
she said he was a fuck nigga.
Yeah, he does that to every bitch he leases out that hoe. Matter of fact, the bitches he bringing over, he letting them know, her lease is up in July. Let me know if you need a place to stay.
You should go get tested.
Immediately. I pray to God you already been doing that.
You should definitely. But safe sex is great sex, first of all.
I know some of you heifers don't, and it's okay. It's not.
You know what's weird? I don't like that. I don't know. Maybe it has to do with like conservatism on the rise, but like not encouraging people to get tested. When we were in,
clock that.
That's conservatism.
Y'all are
when
now
I was in
not
college,
get tested.
I was hearing, girl, you need to get tested after every sexual partner.
And you could get a condom from any fucking building.
Yeah, like you can't, safe sex isn't as easy as it used to be. It really isn't.
Ridiculous.
And then you can't even get an abortion anymore. Like, what the fuck are we doing?
They want us, oh God, they want us pregnant with chlamydia.
And if you have certain stuff, the baby could get it.
That's dangerous. Yeah.
The baby can get it for real.
Yeah. And if you have that, you're going to have a penicillin drip, and you're going to have to put that grease on the baby's eyes to protect it from coming through the birth canal, getting gonorrhea.
Ew.
And that's all because of the Republicans.
It's all Donald Trump's fault.
Fuck
gonorrhea,
you, Ronald Reagan.
baby.
What? Fuck you, Ronald Reagan. Shit. It's because
honestly,
of you
really
that we have this shit.
Where the fuck are we at? Trickle-down economics sucks. The economy's shit.
And now it's trickle-down STD.
And now Jimmy Carter's dead. So.
Like, now what?
Now what? The only living presidents are Clinton and Bush. And Obama.
I don't know. Last time I seen Clinton, he looked like he on his way out too.
He just looks like he has a sud sometimes.
Yeah,
like SpongeBob.
He looks real
just
dehydrated.
An elongated cold, like ammonia.
Like that eye bag. I'm like, oof.
They pulled Biden's face back tight, baby. They pulled his shit.
He got
back.
that face in a ponytail.
I said, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of giving.
The way that nigga was faking to get out the fucking election. That's some shit I do.
Cause ever since that whole last little stretch, he was talking like he ain't have an issue in the world.
Like, nigga, you got your sense back? What the fuck?
You said,
fucking
bitch,
liar.
I don't want to be no damn
When is
president.
Mitch McConnell gonna die? I'm so sick of him having strokes in fucking public. Die already. You bitch.
That is elder abuse what they're doing. They do have him propped up like a zombie.
that nigga is stuffed.
Whenever
he hasn't eaten in 3 weeks.
Whenever they be trying to get him to talk, and he be, oh, get Paul off the goddamn screen. Ugh.
He needs to be on hospice.
No, like I know,
literally,
like we're trolling, but seriously,
he's half dead. Like he's not going to make
fucking
it
Nancy
to March.
Pelosi need to sit the fuck down.
I can't. Why are old people trying?
Nancy
why are you trying to work?
Nancy Pelosi facelift is starting to drop. That's how old she is.
Like, bitch, if this was a corporate job, you would have been retired. Why the fuck are y'all still working? Pissing me off. Sit your old ass down. And I don't care if this is ageist. I mean it. Old.
No, we should have age limits.
We absolutely should, and it should be 60.
I think that's you know when Thurgood Marshall retired from the Supreme Court, in his press conference, they were like, "Why are you retiring?" And he started laughing. He was like, "'Cause I'm old."
Hello?
Thurgood Marshall, the last.
Y'all should not be dying in Congress, pissing me off. You need to be
the notorious
you need to be like Jimmy Carter, surrounded by
my beef is with
that bitch,
that pompous bitch. Okay,
bitch, you thought you ate that?
Obama begged you to sit the fuck down. All that,
and
damn
you did it with your old ass,
so that he could appoint someone. And now look at us. You did all that stuff, and now we can't even get abortions anymore.
And you want people to celebrate you? No, bitch.
No, I don't.
You celebrated your ego more than the people of this fucking country. You old bitch.
Well, she's dead.
Oh,
now,
you pissed me off with that shit. Everybody was like, we have to lift up RBG. Fuck her.
Yeah. Not a fan.
Damn.
Was a fan, not a fan.
Man, girl, why would you do that?
And Clarence Thomas,
you
first of all, you
nigger.
crispity crackety coon. But I won't say too much because I see you. That nigga's
and he's gonna die soon too. In 3 days.
No, he be doing magic. I'm convinced. You know he Gullah Geechee. Shout out.
And I'm a Gullah Geechee his ass.
Yeah, I know he be doing a little time.
Yeah, you're on your way out too,
even
bitch.
Be talking too much,
pissing me off. But you know what? You need to stay for 4 more years so that Trump don't appoint nobody else. You better not die within these 4, bitch.
He probably will talk to his ancestors and make that
I need
happen.
You to hold on tight until we get somebody else in this motherfucker to replace your ass. But anyways, I hope that you keep fucking that landlord and get some money off your rent. Please, I hope you getting something out of it.
Something.
Get you some new countertops, ask you for a new appliance, clog up the toilet, put that nigga to work.
Clog the toilet. Flush it.
Put that nigga to work. Exactly. Flush a pad down there.
It won't go down.
Ugh, rats. Fuck up that water main. Because everything is on him. Mm-hmm. And he living there too, so he gonna want to fix it. Yeah, fuck some shit up. Get some money off your rent. You got to utilize your resources. Use that punani for good. And if he start getting weird, sue his ass and you will win. That's an easy sue.
Yeah. So let's get into the comments.
Oh.
We still have to do that.
I be forgetting every week, child.
We're going to take a break. And we're back.
Alrighty, we're going to read some of y'all's comments that y'all have been leaving us across platforms. Remember, please leave your thoughts because we love to see them. Whether or not we read them online, we read them outside because we want to stay connected. We want to know what you guys are thinking about the podcast. So be sure to leave a comment. Let's get going with this first one. T Gore 221. I live for the millennial vibes. Can we talk about how fire the intro music is? Shout out to Audie. Make sure y'all follow her on all platforms. Audie Audemars. Exactly. The song is available for streaming now. So make sure you guys go download it, stream it. Exactly. Aside from the vibes, wish you guys all the success and dollars. I know that's right. Thank you so much.
Thanks, girl.
At Falafel Love 3R. Girl, my dad was like 29 and went to prom with my mom and they think that's normal.
Okay. Well, your mom's a victim, but you know, I know you still love her.
29?
And your father is, well, you know what your father is.
And the fact that they let him in that building.
What decade was it?
Good God almighty.
That would be like us going to prom with someone now.
No, that's
crazy.
Insane.
That just pissed me off. If a 19-year-old even or 18-year-old looked at me, I would laugh.
Like, what? I'm sorry, your dad's horrible.
Get a little of this guy. He sucks.
Every time Mecca tells a story about her dad, it just cracks me up. I love you two girlies so much. I'm thankful that I found y'all on TikTok. Y'all both have become integral parts of my daily routine.
Oh my God. Thanks, Anna. And my dad's a funny guy. He definitely is.
Quite a character. Kayla says, hi, Mecca and Jamila. Absolutely love the pod and tune in every Thursday for a good kiki at work. Last week, my dad was in the hospital. He's good now, LOL. But the only thing that kept us laughing through everything going on was watching y'all TikTok funeral. I deeply appreciate the laughs and sisterly advice y'all bring to the table every week. Keep doing y'all. And lastly, go Pirates, LOL.
Woo, come on,
thank you so
Sony.
much. And I'm glad your dad is feeling better.
Period.
Not y'all was tapped into the TikTok funeral. What a time.
Listen, I had me a good time.
It was fun. Carly says, I wish I had this episode when I was in high school. The advice was so perfect. Jamila sitting up on that couch during the segment was sending me.
You were so tapped in last week. You said, yes.
That was so my ministry. Joshua Creighton Priolo says, I thought I saw you. What? I thought I saw you in that judge's TikTok.
Oh, yeah.
I guess
the Honorable Judge Lena Alexander.
At Princess Natalie says, quote unquote, Ray,
Ray,
darling.
Ray, can you please answer this for me?
Answer for me, Ray. Thank you.
Guys, I'm going to be reading the YouTube questions. I'm just need it. I know I'm blind. Okay. Cynthia. I'm so glad I follow and stand hilarious people. This is my favorite podcast because y'all keep it real and entertaining. Been following for years now. Thanks, girl.
Hey, thank you.
Unidentified Beauty 2847 said, it was the fuck the restrictions and you lit your blunt, but still clocked that TikTok. I lived. What was that?
What did they say?
It was the fuck the restrictions and you lit your blunt, but still clocked that TikTok.
Oh, I did. That was on
still clocked by TikTok. Oh.
Yeah, I got a restriction right after I did that. I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh, she talking about when you was really on live.
Yeah, like, because I had already had the message had popped up to say, like, you're done. I literally started smoking my blunt on live because I was like, fuck it, we're all going downhill. And they said, your life has been restricted. I'm like, who the fuck is clocked in right now?
Go to sleep. Y'all are taking it away.
That shit was crazy.
Nasoli said, the Sweetie Pie tea def had me sitting up because watching that in real time was insane. It literally was. Like setting up your own cousin for insurance money is crazy. Another amazing Thursday with some hilarious individuals. Love y'all. Thank you, girl. And he set up his nephew. That was his brother's son that he set up for the insurance money and had killed. And then Sydney Blue 9261 said, talk y'all ish. What about a 9-to-5 is appealing except the money? Work smarter, not harder, and do what makes you happy. Period. Kiera.abar said, at 42 minutes and 28 seconds, LMAO, Jamila, please. Y'all are hilarious. Love to see that new episode notification. Yay. Oh, Kiana DeReese said, y'all literally got me through the last hours of TikTok. Jamila and Sabrina was mourning. Mecca was just joking, and Alexis was mad. Was so many emotions going on. Yo, I didn't even realize. So happening. I saw everyone else. I didn't see Alexis's until like later on. Like
she was pissed.
She was pissed the entire time.
No, literally, this is so fucking annoying.
And if you know Alexis, that is so on brand. Like she was not finna just take that lightly. She was like, really
no,
upset.
I literally cried in the car. Y'all.
No, literally, fuck this. Yada 333 said at 25 minutes and 12 seconds, Jamila, when I said I had to pause and collect myself after this read, OMG. She must be talking about the read that you did for the fella on Twitter. Well, okay.
That was the last one.
That was the last one.
Wow. Thank you guys so much. Wow. We're really doing this. There was a statistic I saw that like 90-something% of podcasts don't make it past episode 3.
Really? That's crazy.
Yes, it's like a crazy statistic that is like a lot of podcasts are unsuccessful. And it's like I 100% understand how. It is difficult to maintain.
Shout out to Melissa.
If it was not for Melissa and our production, baby,
That's why you have to tap into our Patreon so we can pay Melissa.
Please tap into the Patreon. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the Patreon. We have so many exciting guests coming up. And I do want to kind of give you guys I don't want to give you guys too much of tea just because, we want to make sure things are finalized. But we do have some special guest appearances next month coming up soon. And we also are going to be hitting the streets to some other podcasts soon.
That'll be really fun.
And of course, we are still planning the live show. So make sure you guys are tapped in, following us on all platforms.
Mm-hmm. We're actually getting ready to review just one of them days for the Patreon after this.
Yes. So make sure you guys are doing that. We'll do some movie/show reviews.
We're also starting our Insecure rewatch this week.
Yes. We're starting our Insecure rewatch. So those are 2 reviews that you can get into. So the Insecure rewatch, kind of like book club type of vibe. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to review just one of them days, the Issa Rae, SZA,
if you want to watch along Insecure with us, we're going to do it episode by episode. Mm-hmm. Or maybe I will definitely let y'all know, but it's on Netflix. It's also on HBO, I believe. And if you have a Fire Stick that's jailbroke, it's wherever. So yeah, we want you guys to engage in the comments on the Patreon. We do have pretty good engagement right now, but I know Issa has a talent, a knack for getting niggas riled up with her characters.
For sure. Well, this has been such a great episode. Love you guys so much. See you next Thursday.
Bye.
Unhinged and Immoral is hosted by Jamila and Mecca.
Produced by Melissa D. Montz and Diamond MPrint Productions.
Post-production by Coco Lawrence.
Production assistant by Melanie D. Watson.
Music by Audie and Brooklyn Billionaires.
And graphics by Claudia Choi.